Good evening. Thanks for being here this evening to the Superintendent Finalist Showcase. There will be 3 tonight. One of the finalists withdrew his name for personal reasons, but it's great to see you here. It's a really nice crowd. If I didn't leave you with a little paper, if you'd like to give feedback, and I'm sorry for the quick turnaround, but by Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, so any feedback you have, we'll share with the board. Okay. If you're a member of the screening committee, stand up. If you're a member of the screening committee, right? Give them a hand. They work hard. So just so you know how the process works, in Kentucky the law is followed, and the first thing the board did was establish position criteria, and from the position criteria we advertised for the position and had applicants. The screening committee was elected by people across the school district, including parents, and the screening committee met 3 nights to recommend a set of names to the board. And from there, we're here tonight as a finalist showcase. Would like, if you'd like to give feedback on what you heard and saw tonight, to do that on the handout that I gave you. I'd like to have it by Tuesday afternoon. After this point, the board will interview, review feedback received, look at different items, and they'll be interviewing Thursday. By Kentucky law, it's the obligation of the board to appoint a superintendent. So that's where we'll go tonight. After tonight, the board will be interviewing on Thursday. This is established to give the community a meaningful way to see the candidates and also provide feedback if you would like to for the board, and you have instructions to do that. The format is each candidate will be with us individually, answer a set of questions. It'll be the same questions that have some of them have been submitted by people who had thoughts and ideas like to hear. Took some of those and created a set of 7 questions. Each question will be limited to 2 minutes, and when the applicant is finished, then the next one will come in, same set of questions. And at the end, we'd like all 3 of them to come back in. This is challenging, obviously, getting in front of a group of people. And at the end, they'll be out here, and if you would like just to say hello, greet them, that is fine. I would encourage you as your feedback, as you look about the chances of the person being successful as a superintendent. It's tough one night to look at that. I do have 2 students in the audience. Kim and Terry, where are you? I had them both in school. They haven't changed a minute. One of them did say this, then we'll get started. One of them did say, "What happened to your red hair?" It went from red to blonde to strawberry blonde to now who's that white-haired guy down there? I do want to thank you for being here, and I would ask not to applaud until the end for each candidate. This is challenging. I'm sure everybody here can appreciate that. So, and it was challenging to get the questions with broad spectrum to get an idea.
Did the candidates have advanced knowledge of the questions, or will they be answering them on their feet here?
Great question. The candidates had knowledge of 2 questions, and I'll share what they are. Who are you? Which I think's a fair one. Then the last one is, why do you feel like you're the best fit to be here? But all of them had that, and then there's 5 questions they don't know, hopefully broad enough. And anybody that's sending questions, don't hear your question tonight, you can blame it on me. I live in Bowling Green. But we couldn't ask all of them, and I tried to make sure it's pretty broad. Okay? Again, 2 minutes for each question, and thanks for being here. Okay, the first is Dr. Ryan Clark. Wow. Okay, Dr. Clark. We'll start off. With, again, questions are limited to 2 minutes. Kim's our timer. Dr. Clark, tell us who you are.
Happy to share a little bit about myself. First, awesome showing. I appreciate everybody being here. And some of these things I'm going to share, you may already know about me. I am a lifelong resident of Bardstown, a graduate of Bardstown High School. My wife and siblings are also proud graduates, and my kids go to school here. I've also had family members that have retired from this very district. This is an amazing place, and I've been so proud to be a part of it, beginning as a student and now as a school leader. Beginning as a student and now as a school leader, I have seen the impact of our tradition. It makes an amazing impact on students and inspires them to do great things. I take my work as a school leader very seriously. I'm earning my doctorate in educational leadership in 2015 and serving as an administrator for the last 14 years. I am focused on making a difference in kids' lives. That is what brings me to work every day. I'm very thoughtful about leadership. I work hard, and I rely on teamwork to make sure that the best possible decisions put students first.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Second question, or I guess the first question, the first statement. How do you plan on staying in touch with what is actually going on in each of the schools?
I plan on being, this thing is it working? I think, there we go. How's that? Oh, that's much better. I plan on being everywhere. I know that sounds impossible, and I guess in reality it is, but I want to know what's going on. I plan on being in schools. I plan on being part of events. You'll see me at ball games, not just watching my kids, but seeing all the students that we have participating. Again, this is where I've always wanted to be, and I want to continue to be a very big part of what's happening here. So you're going to see me, as your superintendent, you would see me everywhere.
Thank you. Dr. Clark, how do you propose to recruit and retain skilled, dedicated staff with the current pension crisis looming?
Oh, yeah, I know that's a really hot topic, and rightly so. We're all really worried about what that's going to do to our future teachers. But what I'm very focused on is making sure that we have, first, a place that people want to be. People that come to work here and teach here, they don't leave. They stay here. This is where people want to be a part of the great things that we do serving our students. So I think the first point of good recruitment is making sure we have the culture and climate that people want to be a part of and don't ever want to leave. Bardstown has been blessed to be able to have very competitive salaries. I think that's a wonderful attraction for a new teacher. But first and foremost, it's mostly about what we do to serve kids, and people don't want to leave that.
Okay, thank you. Bardstown's mission is innovation, excellence, and diversity. What has been your most creative achievement in your career?
That's pretty easy for me to think of. It's really been, in the latter part of my career, really leaning on teacher leaders. I had always known how powerful leadership was, but when I took it upon myself to make sure that my purpose was about empowering others to lead and doing so positively, I saw a tremendous impact in my school. So leaning on teachers, leaning on others to take on leadership is how we've made profound changes in the environments that I've been a part of. So that is definitely the most innovative experience I've had.
Okay, thank you. Describe how you have helped schools or districts meet the needs of all students, such as those with disabilities, those on free and reduced lunch, and those in minority subgroups.
It's about relationships. Again, that's what makes Bardstown special. We know every one of our kids. So no matter what they come to us with, a disability or someone that is a high flyer. It doesn't matter your ethnic background. It's about getting to know our students, and we have a tremendous staff that is so skilled and take that so personally and so seriously. That is how you meet the needs of all students.
Okay. In an ideal world, what role and how large of a role would technology play in a student's education?
Well, I see sitting in front of me, I see lots of phones, and I know that is very much a part of our culture today. Technology is a tool. It does not replace that classroom teacher. It does not replace the wonderful things that the adults create, these amazing opportunities for kids. But it can be an amazing tool. It is something that we cannot realize the potential of technology for our students' futures, so we have to pay close attention to it. We have to make sure we're providing opportunities for kids to engage using technology, but it is just a tool that helps us do our jobs.
Right. In closing, Dr. Or closing, Ryan, why do you believe you're the best fit to lead the Bardstown City Schools?
I am committed to this district. There is no place I would rather be. I have, as a student and also now as a school leader, I really understand what's expected of leaders in this district. We are all about serving kids and building meaningful relationships with all those that hold Bardstown dear. I've spent my career learning about the best way to serve kids, earning an advanced degree in educational leadership. All of those things have helped prepare me for a position like superintendent. I know that working closely with the board is something that I'm excited about, an opportunity to do. I think together we can continue to move this district forward, and standing on the shoulders of the giants that have led in the past, be able to help us achieve great things for kids. Bardstown is very unique. There's only been 8 superintendents in 109 years. That's significant. There's not many places like this, and maybe not any other place like this. So the Board of Education has always made very thoughtful decisions about who is going to be their leader, and they take that work very seriously. I'm at a point in my career where I can provide long-term leadership. I really believe in our vision, and I practice it every day, building leaders through excellence, innovation, and diversity. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Anthony Thompson, just observation, you ever notice if you pay $500 for front row seats, they're always full? And when they're jokes. Kim and Terry knew we were way ahead of our time in technology. I bought a set of computers my first year as principal. The superintendent since passed, Mr. Red Sanders, and he called me out. Want to know why I bought 5 computers? Wasted money because it was a fad. I'm gonna ask. That's a true story. I'm just going to read the question. Can everybody hear in the back? Are we okay? Okay, Mr. Thompson. Tell us who you are.
Sure. So thanks for having me this evening. It's a big group. I'm more intimidated now than I was back in the locked room. I had plenty of time to think about this moment, what I might say about who I am, and I'll just leave you with these things. The first thing I want you to know is that I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm a husband to a beautiful, talented, way more talented than I, wife, father of 2 amazing children, and I'm a respondent to the ministry calling to public education. I've been in this thing about 20 years, and I've been able to serve from the classroom to district level administration, and I'm a believer in a few things. I believe in the enormous positive impact that public educators who have exceptional character and high motivation can have on young people and communities. I'm a believer that we are all in this together. Every person, every family, every organization in this room. We're all better when we're all good. And I think I've read the tea leaves enough to know that there are challenges headed our way. And I believe that public education like exists right here in Bardstown is the best situation to resolve some of those challenges. So I'm glad to be here this evening. I'm grateful for the opportunity, humbled by the committee who put my name in front of the board. And Stacy and I are hopeful with you tonight that what's good for Bardstown is just going to be evident as the week moves on. So I think that's it.
Anthony, how do you plan on staying in touch with what is actually going on in each of the schools?
Sure. So Stacy and I, we selected this opportunity on purpose. That was intentional on our part because this is a tight-knit community, and we think through the telescope through which we view it that folks work kind of arm in arm here. And so we'll be bringing our family when we come. And we have a 7-year-old little boy, Kit Carson, and a little girl, Mary Jo. And they're going to tie us to what goes on. But here's kind of the bottom line for us. We intend to love this community as though it were our own, and love the children here as though they were our own. And so that means we're going to be involved, we're going to be visible, we're going to roll up our sleeves and be part, and hopefully we can be woven in to what is a good thing that you have going on here.
Anthony, how do you propose to recruit, retain skilled, dedicated staff with the current pension crisis looming?
Had to mention the pension crisis, didn't you? Look, there's an ebb and flow to what goes on in Frankfurt, and in my career, we're at really one of the lowest places. I know everybody's aware of that. But the good thing is, when you're solid, you're solid. And excellent processes make excellent outcomes. And the good thing that goes on here in Bardstown is you've got excellent processes in place. One of the things that recruits people is an excellent location, and this is an excellent location. It's a high-wage district that obviously helps with recruitment and retention. But the biggest thing is you've got a culture here that revolves around kindness and inclusivity. And when you have kindness and you include people and your stakeholders feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves, it's easier for us to draw people here than it is maybe for some of our competitors. So, boy, to be a part of of something like that, I think would be an honor just from mine and Stacy's perspective. So.
Anthony, Bardstown's mission is innovation, excellence, and diversity. What has been your most creative achievement in your career?
Sure. So I'll just say how surprising it was to me, pleasantly surprising, that I don't think I'm aware of another district that has diversity as part of their process statement. And so, wow, when we were considering what it would be like to be in Bardstown, we were blown away by that mentality. As far as creativity in my own career, we realized in our district several years ago that some of our students who had less advantages than others, we weren't moving our basket quickly enough to catch all of them. And so I was fortunate enough to work with some good teammates to create a program at Russell Independent Schools we call E21, Excellence for the 21st Century, where we went out and looked intentionally for students who had the characteristics of children we thought may have a chance to drop out, may have a chance to get away from us and not be successful, and engage them in ways that are pretty non-traditional. So I'm pretty proud of that. In fact, the things I've been able to accomplish in my career, that might be the most important. And we've got a good graduation rate among those students now, and some good efficacy, and that program has kind of taken a life of its own, and I no longer have to steer it. So I'm calling that a win on behalf of myself and the students in our community.
Okay. Anthony, describe how you have helped schools, districts meet the needs of all students, such as those with disabilities, those on free and reduced lunch, and those in minority subgroups.
Sure. So that's a big, broad question right there. Here's what it boils down to for me. Is everybody going to get to be in the conversation? And Stacy and I were talking about this very same thing on the way down here. Until I inherited Title I, I'm not sure I had an appreciation for how difficult it is to tie all of the groups for which we account together. And what I learned is that sometimes we leave some folks out of the conversation. I'll give you a for instance. Some of our kids who are the most talented, some of our kids who are at the top of maybe our intellectual ladder, can get left out of the great things that we create. And it's a shame because the 21st century is hitting us in the face right now, and those are the kids who are going to impact that model. Conversely, our kids with the most challenges can get left out. And so I would say, just in my experience, the most opportunity I've had to impact that is through that Title I program, where we've engaged the parents of those children and tried to make sure that everybody's involved in our culture. It's one thing to have a culture of kindness, where I think we've had to improve, not only in my district, but probably throughout public education, is in the inclusivity part. So I'm pretty proud of the efforts we've made to include everybody in those conversations.
Thank you. In an ideal world, what role and how large of a role would technology play in a student's education?
Wow, so that's coming. Technology, I've viewed that from two perspectives. One, the world in which our students walk after they graduate. Right now in Central Kentucky, which is one of the reasons we're excited to be in this room right now, a student can walk out of Bardstown Independent Schools into a job in robotics, and into a job in aerospace technology, and into a job in cyber intelligence. And those are things that maybe we're not super prepared for. I do appreciate the progressive nature of the board and Superintendent Holtzclaw. We've got the little steamers going, and I watched a thing on the VEX program the other day. Those are excellent moves. We're going to have to bite off more of that. But as far as how that's going to impact learning, there's no doubt that our students are going to be operating one-to-one with devices soon. And so what we're going to be doing is looking through a progressive lens, but taking a conservative approach on how that's going to work. I'm not sure we're super clear on how our students are going to manage that one-to-one device ratio. I know we talk a lot about Google Chromebooks and things like that, but for sure it's coming. And I appreciate the fact that Mr. Downs and the board and the superintendent have done a good job practicing caution along with their progressive stance. That's been good for the district, and I think it'll work out for our future.
Okay, Anthony, the last question. In closing, share why you believe you are the best fit to lead the Bargetown City Schools.
Yes, that's a hard one for me. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, we've thought a lot about fit. Stacy and I have, and we thought about it being time to step out into the superintendency. I'll tell you this, for us, there were 3 things at minimum that we hoped for. We hoped for a place that we really believed would love our children. We hoped for a location that would offer opportunities that maybe we're not used to. And we hoped for a board that would demonstrate some stability. So Bardstown was easy for us. We admire what you've got here. As far as fit from your perspective, I'll tell you, you've got a board here that's impressive. These are sage folks who've made good decisions. And I'll also tell you, you've got some quality candidates. I've met some gentlemen back in the back, and boy, those are some quality fellows. I'll just leave you with this from our perspective. We believe in what we're doing. We believe in the impact that we're making through public education, and we believe that it is unlike anything else available to communities. We believe that it'll be hard for us to make that difference unless we're locked arm in arm and lockstep together. And so if it's us, we're going to be building relationships and working together to make that progress a reality. And we believe that the challenges are urgent and they're unique, and public education is uniquely structured to manage those challenges. And boy, the history and tradition here of adapting to new circumstances is enticing to us. So with that, I guess I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here this evening. Thank you for letting me share with you.
Thank you, Anthony.
So that's all.
Okay. Nice job.
Yeah, thank you.
In case anyone came a little late, one of our candidates withdrew his name for personal reasons. So we have the last one is Mr. Chuck Abel, and I really appreciate the crowd here tonight. It shows great interest and engagement from the community, and I promise you, this is tough. This is tough. You know, these are they're not normally used to speaking in this entertaining. I guess this is really tough. I will tell you, during my time working with the board here, you all should be very proud of the board education you have and the approach they've taken with this. Have really just stayed within the process. The members are here tonight. We're not going to introduce them. They're just here to see and watch. Stress to you again, if you would like to give some feedback about anything tonight, and I had to explain to one of them that anonymous means we won't know who it is. But please, if you feel free of giving some feedback, that will be shared with the board. Again, Thursday we'll be with interviews, and the board will make a decision soon after that. Okay, Mr. Chuck Abel. Check me. Anytime I can help someone with technology, I feel so. Let me also, if I could, thank Kim Lacey. Kim has been great to work with. Everybody here has really been great. Okay, Chuck, tell us who you are.
Well, first of all, Wow, that's loud. First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chuck Abel, and as you know, I'm currently the Assistant Superintendent in Spencer County Schools. I'm married to a lovely woman, Miss Anna Abel. I'm not going to let her get by without standing, so please stand, Miss Abel. Anna is currently a 4th grade teacher in Washington County. Anna grew up in Fredericktown and went to school at Bethlehem. Since her family all reside in Nelson County. We both now live in Springfield. I went to Washington County High School, and it was kind of ironic that we had to drive to Eastern before we met, an hour and a half away, and we've been married for 28 years now. We have 2 wonderful children, Trey Abel, who's an accountant in Louisville, and we have a daughter, Madeline, who we hope, fingers crossed, is getting ready to graduate from nursing school here in the next 2 years. I've been a passionate educator for 26 years. I've had a lot of varied experiences in that time. I was a classroom teacher for 7 years. I taught middle school math at Washington County. From there, I decided that I wanted to try administration. I felt like administration would give me the opportunity to influence kids at a greater level. I felt like if you could influence the adults who influence kids, then you could have a greater impact. So I went to Fredericktown Elementary, where I was the head teacher for 3 years, and then continued on as an assistant principal for 4 years. And in 2005, I got a unique opportunity to go to Spencer County to open up a brand new school called Taylorsville Elementary School. We went, in the time that I was there, from being one of the lowest performing schools to the highest performing school in the district. Then I moved to the central office, where I've been assistant superintendent and have helped transform that district from one that was not highly thought of to one that is now one of the highest performing school districts in the entire OVEC region. So we're real proud of the work that we've done there.
Thank you, Chuck. How do you plan on staying in touch with what is actually going on in each of the schools?
I think a superintendent has to be visible in the schools. I think there are 2 different types of superintendents: those that come across as a distinct professional that sit back in an office, and those that are hands-on and are in schools on a regular basis. My style is to be out into the classrooms, to be with the kids, and to be with the teachers on a regular basis, and to interact with them. You will see me at socials, you'll see me at spring flings, you'll see me at ball games, and you won't see me sitting up at the top of the bleachers. You'll see me sitting at the gate and the door, meeting and greeting people when they come in. I also plan to interact in the schools daily, and I also plan to have the principals send communications to me on a regular basis so that I'm aware of everything that's taking place. And again, I believe that's something the superintendent needs to do for his leaders in the building as well.
Thank you. How do you propose to recruit, retain skilled, dedicated staff with the current pension crisis looming?
I think the recruitment and retaining of quality staff is the number one thing that we as educators can do to impact the instruction that takes place regularly. In Spencer County, we regularly attend recruitment fairs. We take students to these recruitment fairs to talk about the great things that are taking place within our schools. Once we get our teachers to our community and to our district, we have platforms in place to help them grow as teachers. We have a new teacher induction process that helps teachers develop the skills necessary to be successful in the classroom. We have a year 2 and a year 3 induction process where we meet with teachers and again let them share the great things that are taking place, and then also read about best practice instructional strategies and grow as professionals. This past year we implemented what was called our Master Teacher Academy, where we're working with those teachers who are wanting to attain their national board certification, and we've got 22 teachers that are going through that process this year. We think when you invest in your staff, staff want to stay with you. So again, I think people are the number one resource that we have as a school district to provide to our kids and to our community.
Okay. Bardstown's mission is innovation, excellence, and diversity. What has been your most creative achievement in your career, Chuck?
I think right now we are currently going through a process where we're implementing what we call our graduate profile. Innovation in today's society is all about personalization of the platform for kids. Personalization needs to come about through a system of approaches. Students need to be provided digital learning experiences. They need to be provided blended learning experiences. Some kids may need traditional learning experiences. We need to have project-based, performance-based, and this all begins by identifying a graduate set of competencies and dispositions that are communicated at every grade level. That helps students then develop the skills necessary to be successful in the real world. And that's something that we're currently working on and something that I'm particularly proud of.
Thank you. Describe how you have helped schools, districts meet the needs of all students, such as those with disabilities, those on free and reduced lunch, and those in minority subgroups.
I think what you're talking about is looking at your gap population. I think to look at your gap population, you first have to look at the core instruction that's taking place within the schools. Lots of times when you've got gap scenarios taking place, you've got inconsistencies with your core instruction, or you have fidelity of instruction not necessarily taking place. I think you have to identify those interventions that are going to be best suited to help those kids, and I think you need to put a system in place. Again, and that's all about RTI.
Thank you. In an ideal world, what role and how large of a role would technology play in a student's education?
I think technology is a part of what kids do every day now. Digital learning is where it's all about. Kids today are digital natives. I think technology needs to be utilized for instruction, and it needs to be utilized to access instruction. So when you walk into a classroom, I think technology needs to be in the hands of each and every kid on a regular basis.
Okay. In closing, share why you believe you are the best fit to lead the Bardstown City Schools.
I think there's several reasons why I'm the best fit to lead Bardstown City Schools. I think my career trajectory has given me the experiences and knowledge to be a successful superintendent. I think the fact that my wife and I live in Washington County and that I live and work in Spencer County, and my kids and myself have had personal interactions with the Bardstown City Schools, I have an understanding of the traditions that have already been established. I understand the academic traditions, and I understand the extracurricular traditions. I can remember playing ball against Bardstown schools for years and being on the opposite end of some of those ball games. So I'm well aware of the academic and extracurricular things that are taking place. But I think the main reason that I'm the fit for Bardstown is I think my core beliefs align with the values that have been established by the Bardstown City Schools. I believe that a quality, positive culture and climate is the foundation for school success. When I look at the TEL survey for Bardstown, I see positive numbers across the board. That tells me that there's been a commitment to providing a quality experience for kids and staff members, and that's something that I would continue if given the opportunity. I think that our people are our greatest asset, and when I see what the Bardstown Foundation has done over the past several years, it shows me that there's a commitment to excellence in our staff, and that too is something that I want to continue. And the third thing that I believe in is that personalized learning experiences need to be provided for all kids. Personalization is at the core of innovation. When you look at Bardstown City Schools, it took an innovative group of individuals to start this school system in 1908. Okay, your mission statement is all about innovation, and personalization is at the core of that innovation. So I think, again, with that alignment, great things would take place if I was selected as superintendent if we work together.
Thank you. Thank you. Boy, impressive three folks. They're going to come back out, welcome you, want to come up and say hello to them. You get a chance to just say hello. Again, I'm impressed with the crowd that came out. The whole time I used to be at LaRue County, and Garnis Martin broke me in my career as a high school football coach. About got me out of it too. There, but I hope you have found this helpful. I feel like the board has found it helpful to see how people handle, and I really salute the screening committee once again for getting what I consider three quality candidates. Impressive. So they're going to come back in, hopefully. We were going to forget the interviews and all this, do arm wrestling, whoever won. I don't think we would miss on any of them, but they're going to come back out. I do welcome you to come up if you'd like to say hello to them. And boy, I know this is, I mentioned the wives being, that's awful nervous and that kind of stuff. So hopefully they're coming back. Encourage you again to give you, if you haven't received this, and I'm not going to introduce all the wives, but they are all here. I've seen them. So if you haven't had a chance to give a little feedback, I will share that with the board via an email, and it is anonymous. Again, thanks for coming, and I see why Bardstown is a city school system that it is. Have a nice evening. Get a chance to meet the candidates. Thank you. Thank you.